Good morning, good morning. How are you, lovelies? So I am super excited. I got my cup of coffee. Of course, my fave is keto coffee. How about you? Do you guys love coffee? Are you a tea drinker? What do you put in your coffee? All right, I'm just getting my stuff settled here, get my chair going. Can you see me okay? Can you hear me okay? All right, awesome sauce. So I was just making sure I got my stuff here because I am really excited about sharing this with you guys. Our values, our innermost values, and why they're so important to us in our lives, um, and how you can be in alignment with that. So when you're in alignment with your values, like live from flow, from ease, you get a life that's lived on purpose and with certainty. So if you are joining me here this morning, say, hey, let me know. I just saw some likes. I'm doing the live on my public program, or my public program. I'm doing my live on my public figure page. So I thought I'd start doing them here. So people aren't confused with that on my personal timeline. So if you are with me, let me know, because it is not telling me that I have anybody here with me. So you know what I'm going to do, and I want to get this party started here. I absolutely love mornings. How about you? I look forward to getting up in the mornings because it's the start of a new day. All right, so just one moment. What I'm going to do, let's go to my page here. Got your coffee? I hope so. Are you a coffee drinker or a tea drinker? All right. So I'm on my page here. There we go, my page. This is where I want to be. Should show me here live. Yep, I can. Are you living it? Here it is. That's me. Dun, dun, dun. Okay, here we go. My page. This is where I want to be. Of course, I don't want to be hearing myself. However, this will help me see if anybody's joined me. All right. Okay, so the question is, are you living your values? Are you living your life from your innermost values? I'm going to type these questions. If you are, give me some hearts. And if you're not, give me a sad face. Some sad faces. Getting comfortable here, stretching. I've been up actually since 5, little after 5. I always, before I jump out of bed, I wake up and I like to take a few deep breaths and just express my gratitude. I think about, anywhere from 3 to 6 different things that I'm grateful for. The first thing I always express gratitude for is my heart. My heart is really important. Like, it was a gift to me. Our heart is a gift to us, and we get to live because of this heart. So I always express gratitude for my heart. So are you living your life values? So yesterday morning I was journaling. Journaling is like something I do every single day. Sometimes I do it throughout the day. It just depends, you know, whatever I'm inspired to do, that's what I go with. So, and when I talk about what I am inspired, I'm talking about my inner being, creating space where I drop in and just listen, calm my circuits, and find out, okay, what's the next thing? What's the next thing? So yesterday while I was journaling, what came through was it's time to do my values again, to go through that process. And I absolutely love this process. I do it every so often when I am inspired to do so. So it's not like I do it all the time. However, the last time I probably done it was, I want to say it was last winter, maybe probably in November or December. And I especially use my values as like a, you know, a way to guide me in when I'm off, feeling off, or things are not working. You know, if there's any kind of unworkability, and I'm not talking like unworkability where it's just like, oh, my computer didn't work that day. It's like unworkability in my relationships. It could be unworkability in getting things accomplished, because I might have somewhere where I'm out of alignment in one of my top 5 highest values, my 5 innermost values. And so yesterday when I was journaling my values, and then this is the process that I'm going to use with you guys today, that I use, because I've actually learned these processes over a couple of years ago. I started learning them back in 2017 with John Asraf. For those of you who don't know him, I first seen him on the documentary The Secret, and was inspired, I don't know, about 3 years ago, where he just like popped into my life again. And it was called the Brainathon. So that was absolutely, he's like really deep into the neuroscience, and that's where I'm at. I love the brain, how it works, why we have these thought processes, where they come from, all that stuff. Like I really love the inner workings of our brain. And so he is very good at what he does. So a couple of years ago, he was talking about value-based living and why that was important. And then, like a year ago, I came across Katrina Ruth, who is a total bad shiz ass. Oh, yeah, I want to cuss, but Facebook's been kind of picky about the verbiage. So, and so I want to be, you know, a little limited on how much cussing I do. Sometimes I get so excited I just say the F-bomb here and there, so I will do my best to not throw an F-bomb in here. Anyways, good morning for those of you who are just joining, and welcome, and thank you for joining me this morning. So, anyway, so I started journaling using the same process that I'm going to share with you today, and I actually excitedly discovered a new value that replaced a value. One of my values was passion. I'm very passionate about what I do, and my life. Like I love my life. So passion was, for me, like a place where I'm driven from, you know, at a soul level. However, yesterday, and I kind of had a feeling about this because it's actually come up on my radar a couple times during my journaling. And this is one of the tools that I use, journaling, in my coaching with my clients and in my online programs. So journaling is a very powerful tool in manifesting the things that you desire in life, whether it be money, relationships, health, whatever it is that you want and desire. Journaling is a powerful tool. So as I'm journaling, equality was the word. Equality is the word that just came about. And so I kind of looked it up here a few days ago, because it's come up in conversations, it's come up with clients, it's like just randomly showed up in my writing as I'm writing my story. And I thought, wow, like, okay. So as I was doing this process, equality showed up again as one of my values. And then when I began to research that, equality, like what does equality mean to me? And then just kind of really get the definition, the whole world of equality. And it's very strong for me. So I have a really deep connection, a deep sense to equality. So then came across the word spiritual equality. And wow, I was like, holy moly, like this is me. This is totally me. And so now I have realized yesterday while I was doing this process that spiritual equality is like one of my top 5 values. So if you're just joining me, are you living your values? Do you know what your values are? Or, when I first heard about values, I kind of knew, but I didn't really know. And most people don't know. It's not like people are sitting down saying, oh, this is what I value, and they're writing notes about it, However, it's super important to really understand what especially your top 5 values are, and they're also kind of in order with each other. So for example, my top 5 high values are spiritual, my number 1, health, number 2, family, number 3, spiritual equality, number 4, and being affluent. So affluent is is my last one. So first off, why are the values important to you, and what are they really? So I want to dig a little bit deeper into this with you today so that you can get a sense of like what they are and why they're important to your life. So let me just pull my notes up here so I can stay on track, because I tend to just get off to talking, and I love sharing. I love sharing the knowledge that I've gathered over the past 8+ years around mindset navigation, or like the mindset living, and ontological living. And I've recently been studying NLP and hypnosis, and for the past 2 years I've also been studying the law of attraction and the other 11 universal laws. So and that like all of it just plays a part in our life, right? And this stuff is important to me because it actually, my transformation, my big aha began over 8 years ago. And I just become consumed and highly passionate about wanting and hungry for this knowledge. And then I finally got to a point where it was like, oh my gosh, like I should be sharing this stuff. So that's what I've been doing, is sharing this knowledge with people like you. All right, so the first thing you want to get is that from birth to age 7, these are our imprinting years. And then from age 7 to 14 are our modeling years. And then from age 14 to 21 are our socialization years. And the definition of values are the ideas we have about what is good and what is bad, how we think things should be, and specifically what we deem important. So we have, for example, we have values about family and personal relationships, money, sex, work, ethic, etc. We also our values are usually closely related to our beliefs, our paradigms. We tend to judge ourselves and others based on what we value. Guilt or shame usually occurs when we have done something that violates one of our values or one of our supposed to values that someone else has put on us. So the social conditioning or the social programming. And when we break promises to ourselves, to others, we start to lose trust in ourselves, which leads to losing self-confidence. And trust is the basic of every human relationship, especially with ourselves. So when we look at our value systems, before I really understood what values were, you know, like anybody else who has sort of an understanding or maybe no understanding at all about what values are, integrity is like the foundation of my life. Something that I've practiced and implemented in my own life, because integrity, like values, is, you know, without it, nothing works. So integrity is going to come into play in this conversation this morning with us around our values. Because I don't know about you, but life sucks when you're out of integrity. And you know for yourself, like the number one reason people are not manifesting the life that they desire or the things that they want in life is because of their lack of being honest to themselves and to people and to our environment, anything. So when you're lacking integrity, then you have unworkability in these areas of your life that you value most. And it's an even stronger sense because when you know what your values are, that's where you get to practice daily being in alignment with those. And when you're not in alignment, it's super obvious. So, you know, in every aspect of your life, it doesn't have to be, you know, it might seem to you or it's occurring to you that, you know, there's unworkability happening in maybe just your relationship. However, if you really sat down and took a look at the unworkability of it and you work through it, do the inner work necessary to have it become workable, you'll see that the impact happens across the board. So, you know, there are three things that are just paramount to our values, and that really drive our behaviors and our experiences in life. And you know, the first one is beliefs, our beliefs and our behaviors. So your paradigm, so what you believe to be true about yourself and what you believe to be true about the world around you. And number two, your habits, the things that you do day in and day out. So not doing things is a habit as well, by the way. And then number three is, it's really critical for you to understand when you're looking to understand your own behavior, your own results, and more importantly, like how you're going to move from where you are to where you want to be. So it's in the understanding of your values. And so let me ask you a question. What do you value most in your life? What are your innermost values? What are those core values to you? And the reason why you want to know that is because our beliefs and habits and values just aren't aligned. They're not lined up. And like I was saying earlier, there's this unworkability that begins to happen in your life or is happening. And it feels like you're just constantly doing. You're staying busy, overlooking these things or avoiding them or ignoring them or resisting them. Get to my notes here. So this is why it's really important. obviously beliefs is another conversation. So before I get into sharing with you the process that I use, how I got to my top 5 values, and I hope that you'll join me here by grabbing a pen and a paper. You're taking notes, because it is proven that when you take notes, it reinforces the knowledge in your mind. So, and I would assume that because you are here, you want to hear more about how you can live your life from flow and ease, and with certainty. Certainty for me was like one of the biggest things before I understood values. Um, it lacked integrity in my life and caused integrity to be out and unworkable in my relationships, in my business, in money, in my health. And so for me, uncertainty was like huge. If I had a lot of anxiety around the outcomes of things. So if I did not know what the outcome was going to be, I did a lot of procrastination, because everything had to be perfect before I would even move forward. Talk about exhausting, talk about causing, like it would manifest in my body, via headaches, discomfort in my back. So, certainty, I didn't even know what certainty was. I just knew that I didn't trust myself to make decisions about my life. And that was most of my life, most of all of my life up until 8 years ago. And then, even then, I was still living this life in uncertainty and anxiety, and I would feel overwhelmed at times, and I would have people actually telling me, "Oh, you're so busy, you're so busy," and I would be like, "Yeah, I love being busy," but inside I was like, "No, I hate being busy." Now, I do love the sense of urgency that I have when I'm working on a project and I want to get it out there. That's like normal. I guess that's normal for a lot of people who are driven. So I become laser focused, and I am very clear on what it is that what I want to do, the outcome that I want to have, and who I'm being during that process. So if I'm not being in flow, in alignment, then I know that I'm not in alignment with my values. So, which means if I'm so focused on this and not giving any attention to my family, then something's off here and I need to get back on track. It also plays a role in like being able to say no to people. Maybe you value your time. So freedom was one of my top values a few years ago, which encompasses financial freedom and time freedom, right? And so practicing saying no to people was hard, because I never used to say no. I used to do everything for everybody. Have you ever experienced that, where you just like you done everything for everybody, and you had a hard time with saying no? So by being in alignment with your values, those things like just kind of wash to the side. And so when I really got this, really it was like, instead of focusing on 100 different things, I just started focusing on the 5 things that I value most in my life. And when those things are not in alignment in my life, I know, okay, I need to do something about that. All right, so before I get on to the process, because it's actually a quick process that you can use right now as we're talking, or you can set aside a few minutes first thing in the morning when you wake up after you've done your thing. Spend about 15-20 minutes doing it. It's a pretty simple process. So there's a much deeper process that can happen in, which is John Ashraf's that I learned. And then I learned another process that's a lot quicker, which that ended up being the processes I used the most, by Katrina Ruth. So um, it's just knowing that the importance of the integrity piece. Okay, so before I get going there, this is one of the areas that I work with my clients around their values and integrity. It's about practicing it and restoring it and being in alignment and flow with what you value in your life. And when you're not, that's, you know, where we get to come in and look at and say, okay, is this a pattern for you? And then we kind of can dig deeper into what is the belief system that keeps stopping you or holding you back from fulfilling on having the kind of results that you want, whether it be in money, business, relationships, or health. So if you're not moving forward, then I would invite you to schedule a chat with me, and let's just have a chat about like what is holding you back. And by the way, the number one, I wouldn't say the number one thing, but the biggest thing that I've heard over time from people and my clients, and one of the ones, or several actually, that I've worked through on my own, and with my clients, is the fear of success, fear of failure, and procrastination. And yes, that can happen in all areas of your life, or it mainly shows up for business. So, all right, got to get a sip of my Joe here. So if you'll notice, I put a link in there for you. It's a one-on-one 90-day wealth and well-being immersion with me, with moi, and we will have fun. There will be play, and what I'm committed to is that you are empowered and living and creating the life that you envision for yourself. And if you're having troubles with envisioning a life for yourself, then we will do a lot of deep immersion work to get you there. And that's why it's for 90 days, because we really immerse into your life. And I take that seriously. So schedule a time with me. I would love to chat with you and get to know you. And let's see if this 90-day program is a fit or not for you in your life. All right, moving along here. Okay, so we talked about like what values are, and in case you forgot, you know, they are your beliefs, your paradigms, what you believe to be true about yourself and your life, what you believe about others, you know, what you think about them, the way they should be specifically, and what you deem as being important to you in your life. And so one of my favorite questions that I ask people is like, what's important to you? And people don't get asked that, you know, and so some people know exactly, and then there's some people who's like, wow, I've never been asked that, and they don't really know. And so we do some work on that and find out like really what's important to you. I didn't know none of this stuff before I became a transformation mindset coach. Like I did not know any of this stuff. I was just living my life day to day, surviving, being a victim, or just living paycheck to paycheck. Oh, my defense system just popped up on my screen. Okay, get out of the way. Oh my gosh, you gotta love these computers. I love my computer, actually. I absolutely love my computer. I love technology. It has some ugly aspects to it. I don't focus on that. I used to, and so then I would always have all these technical problems. And so, where energy goes, that's what you manifest. I definitely do not want to manifest any more technical problems, right? All right, on to values. Dun, dun, dun. Ah, okay. So what are your highest values? So on your, if you have a piece of paper and a pen, at the top, the quick way that I do this darn, it's doing a security check on my computer right now. It like just popped out of nowhere. Thank you for protecting me. Okay, here we go. All right, so I'm just pulling my stuff up here, getting that out of the way. So on your piece of paper or in your journal, if you have a journal, so one of the things that I love doing in my community, I have a private Facebook group, which is free. Great value, lots of value provided, lots of knowledge, inspiration. Others come in and they'll, you know, on the days that they can, post about their businesses and share their experiences in life. So we want to keep this simple because I just want you to be able to just go through this and get through it and move on. Like, you don't want to stay stuck in like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm out of integrity in this. Well, I mean, some of these things are just like going to be obvious to you what you're out of alignment with, right? You probably already know. As a matter of fact, do you have a sense of what you're out of alignment with, you know, based on your knowledge of what you have around values? And how is that out of alignment showing up for you in your life in that area? And can you see how it's impacting the other areas? Like, what is it costing you? What's the impact, not just on you, but on your family, on your coworkers, on your boss, on your business, you know, your bank account? Like, there's an impact that's happening when you're not in alignment with your values. So, and it will manifest in any area of your life. It doesn't have to be in particular one area. It just is across all board. And once you restore that and you're back in alignment, then things are smoothly running and you get to enjoy the flow and the effortless days of just being. Like, you just get to be in your world, and then you're inspired to live your life from that place versus chaos and hecticness and, oh my gosh, I got to get this done and that done, or I didn't pay that bill, and you know, finding excuses about why you didn't. I mean, oh my gosh, like, when you really got to pay attention to your level of honesty. One tiny teensy little lie to yourself or to anyone out here can really cause havoc on your life. So if you don't want that, then being aware of your thought processes and the way you're thinking or what you're thinking about, like in this moment, and what you're speaking out into the world, then it's really important to be paying attention to what you're thinking about, your reactions to people. If you get defensive and you notice it doesn't feel right, quite ask yourself, you know, because sometimes it could be ego. So when you're not in alignment, it can wreak havoc on all areas of your life. All right, so you ready? You got your journal out, gave you a couple of minutes there to do so. So first you want to journal the question, that thing just popped up again. First you want to journal the question, number one, it is important to me to be, and answer that. And you want to answer as many times as you can, at least five. Okay? So the question is, it is important to me to be blank, and answer as many times as you can. So for example, it is important to me to be honest. Let me get my journal out here so I can share some of these things. I say honest because integrity is important to me. It is important to me to be known for. It is important to me to be healthy. It is important to me to be energized and in flow and in alignment with my values. It is important to me to be generous and loving and kind. It is important to me to, to be spending quality time with my family, my husband and my daughter, my grandchildren when I get to. And I say get to because obviously our kids are off doing their own things. If you're a grandparent, you get it, right? If you're not, don't worry about it. It has nothing to do with you. No, I'm kidding. When you become a grandparent, or actually when your kids grow up and move out, and I have one kid that lives with me at home. Anyway, so that would be important to me. Those are just some examples of some things that are important to me. It is important to me to blank. And I got these questions through Katrina Ruth's programs. Actually, I got it from one of her books, How to Journal and Make Shit Happen. The book every woman craving an exceptional life must own. I absolutely love this book. She has lots of books, and I have several of those. And some of them I haven't even read yet. I just like the title, and I bought it, and it will get read. I read anywhere from 2 to 4, sometimes 5 books a month. So the question again, in case you missed it, is it is important to me to be what? At least 5 of those, okay? Moving on. Number 2, it is important to me to be known for, and again, at least 5. Come up with at least 5 answers. It is important to me to be known for. For me, I put, it is important to me to be known for my contribution. It's important to me to be known for helping others heal and live their best lives. It's important for me to be known for my generosity. It's important for me to be known for my books, my online programs, the message that I share. It's important to me to be known as someone who's unapologetic, bold, powerful, and courageous. Like, that's important to me. It is important to me to launch my online programs, to be known as someone who is successful in her programs in the online world and offline. So, but most of my work is done online. So, at least 5. I always come up with more than 5, always. Excuse me. All right. Number 3, it is important to me to. Something you want to do. Answer as many times as you can, at least 5. Something you want to do. So for example, it's really important for me to share my message. It's important for me to share my beliefs about what I've learned over the past 8 years, because I know what my life was like prior to that, and I know that it freaking sucked, and I don't want to live that anymore. That's not the life that I strive for. So it's important for me to share my beliefs because I've experienced them in my own life. It's important to me to share my message, my story, because maybe one person might be able to relate to that story and it's impactful for them. All right, so it is important to me too, and it's something you want to do, and you want to put at least 5. The next thing is number 4, blank is important to me. My husband is important to me. My children are important to me. My grandchildren is important to me. Spending quality time with my family is important to me. Equality is important to me. Money is important to me. My clients is important to me. My business is important to me. My health is important to me. So you just want to just go through this. But you get to go nuts on this one, okay? You don't want to think of it in terms of what you want to be or do. Just think about what is important to you. And you want to have at least 10 of those. Okay. Financial freedom, being affluent, or not being, but it's important. Affluency is important to me. Flow, living from flow and ease is important to me. Um, Tithing is important to me. Going to church is important to me. Whatever it is for you, you just start writing it. Spontaneity, living adventurous and fun is important to me. Choice is important to me. You just allow it to flow out of you, okay? So in the next part, it gets just a little bit more intricate. However, it's more worth it. This is where we start getting a little more in depth with, identifying your top 5 highest values. And again, I said, there's many, many, many ways that you can find out what your core values are. Heck, you could do a Google search on it. This is just the one way that I found that is quick. It's in a process that I like to use, or using the tool of journaling. It's always going to be there. And I do it at a time where I'm able to just create space for myself, do some calm breathing breaths, and allow for flow to happen. Freestyle writing. So just allowing it to come out. If you're thinking to yourself, oh, I'm stuck on that, write down I'm stuck on that, and then go from there. It's easier than people make it. All right, so I want you to go through your answers so far, and you're going to combine and start to reduce each one down to one word. So for example, I have a common thread of family, a common thread in business, money, adventure and play, travel, sex, integrity, empowering and inspiring others. So you want to just start to combine or reduce them, okay? And what you end up with is like a list of words, all right? So family, health, spiritual, religion, whatever those are for you. Like, and you can actually go online and Google examples of values and examples of values lists, and you can find lists that kind of inspire you. Like acceptance might be something you value, faith, justice, intimacy, playfulness, purpose, freedom, career, challenges, clarity, growth, education. That was something else in mine. Education, open-mindedness. I mean, like whatever you come up with in your journaling from those questions I gave you, you're basically making them into one word. Okay, you're reducing it down. What is the common theme? And reducing it to making a word, or like here's one that's more than a word: making a difference, mind development, relationships, relaxation, whatever those are. And you may come up with 7 top values. However, it's the first 5 that you want to focus on being in alignment with. And you will find out here really soon what those 5 are. All right, so now that you've went through, and what I did was I just kind of circled it. I just started circling them, the words that seem to lead, like leaving a legacy, time, freedom. So time freedom is important to me. And then you should come up with at least a list of 20 plus of these words. So for example, I came up with family, contribution, passion, freedom, equality, leadership, financial freedom, spiritual, empowerment, love and compassion, integrity, being, which is ontological living, knowledge, entrepreneurship, expression, So my list just goes on, and I've come up with at least 20 of these words that I've identified as being part of my system of values. Okay, these are beliefs of my own. You may come up with a lot of similar ones. You can steal some of mine if you want. All right. So now, I want to make sure I give you enough time because I feel like I'm rushing through, and I want to make sure. Sometimes I can get to talking really fast. So let me take a sip of my coffee. Take a breath. Don't feel, if you're feeling overwhelmed, stop and just take in a breath. And when you're breathing in, think to yourself, my mind is calm. And breathe out as if you're breathing through a straw. I learned that technique from John Ashraf. It's a breathing exercise that he teaches, and I absolutely love it. So it's breathe in. As you're breathing in, you're thinking, my mind is calm. And as you breathe out, you're blowing through a straw, but you're also thinking, I'm letting go of anxiety, or I'm letting go. And you do that 6 times, picking one word that's that. So for me, what came up was overwhelmed. I'm breathing in. I'm breathing in. My mind is calm. Letting go of overwhelm. And you do that for 6 breaths. Okay. I've picked up some really amazing techniques throughout the years. Alrighty then. Give you a moment here to just kind of get caught up. Okay. So you should have now a list of words, right? And you have this list of about 20 plus words. And now you're going to take those words and you're going to prioritize them. All right, if I can get back on my page here. All right, so now you're going to prioritize your values. So what you're going to do is you're going to order them from most to least important. And you're going to do this on the entire list until you get to 15. After 15, you just leave the rest off the list. Okay, so it's just the first 15. All right. And a really great way to do this is, again, you want to make sure that you have a calm mind. And when you're going through this list of what from the most least important to, what you're going to do is order the list from most to least, is what I wanted to say. From most to least important. And so when you're calm, you get a sense of, from yourself, which is source. And you don't, if you start spending a lot of time sitting there thinking about one word, then you're in the presence of ego. You're in the presence of overthinking it too much. And what you do to interrupt that is to take a few breaths in. All right. Because you just interrupt it. You don't want to resist your thinking. You don't want to, beat it up or make yourself wrong or go there. Like, just scratch all that. It's important that you just be with your thoughts. Notice that you're being aware, noticing that you are overthinking one of the words, or notice that you're overthinking this process, and just notice it and then move on. If it keeps happening, then it's time to calm your circuits. You can do the breathing techniques, maybe get up and yawn. That's another one. It's about like interrupting it in a calm manner, but not in a bad way. All right. So now you have this list of 15 from the most to least important to you out of the 20 plus that you've already come up with. Okay. So remember, the rest of them, you're just setting them aside. You know, we can just leave the rest off the list, and the more than 15 values, I mean, really, you're going to focus on 5, really. And if you're focusing on all that, that's a lot. Like you just could, I mean, you would be overwhelmed in your own values. But that's pretty cool to know that, like, I value a lot of things in my life, right? And if you would like to get that like if you'd like to have a list of values and you don't want to go research it yourself, just private message me, say, hey, I'd like to have that list. And all I need is your email, and I'll email it to you. All right, so now you're going to take that 15, and this is where you're going to find your top 5 most important values. You're going to do it with comparing points 1 and 2, and you're going to gut feel which one matters to you most. Okay, so gut feel 1 and 2 by comparing them. So when you look at the word empowerment on your list, the first word, gut feel 1 and 2. Is family 1 or 2? Well, it was quick to me, 1. You know, then you do that with all of them, and then you compare that point, the one you came up with for each one, with the point number 3. Okay, so if it's 1, or is it 3? Is it 1 or is it 3? Is it 1 or is it 3? Which one do you care about more? And you might stick with your original first point, and that's okay. Or you might switch it over to point 3. That's okay too. There's no right or wrong way of doing this. It's about getting in tune with yourself. So you want to continue comparing all the way through the list. All right. Until you end up with after you've like already compared all 15 values, until you've ended up with the number 1 value. So you're going to keep doing that. If at any point you start to struggle with that, you know, with your choice, you know, between the points, is this 1 and 3? Is this 1 or 2? You know, is it? You're just going to ask yourself, if you noticed some struggle, if I knew I could never have one of these values, which would I let go of? That's a powerful question. If I knew I could never have one of these values, which would I let go of? All right. So I know a lot of you are probably going to be jumping off of here and heading to work. I get that. Or maybe you need to get out of here and go do your own thing, or you got children to run to school. Well, I think school's out over here anyways. I get that. The replay will be available for you. Don't forget, there's 24 hour, or there's just a few hours left in my 24-hour bonus offer, which is valued at over $2,900. If you'd like to jump in on that bonus offer that I have, it's awesome, super awesome sauce. You will love it, I'm telling you. It's some of my coolest work that I've done over the past couple of years. Anyways, if you want to dive deeper and just really immerse into your beliefs and your patterns, the things that are holding you back, that constrain you from living the life that you want to live, then click that button now and private message me or schedule a time with me, and we will have a chat about what's in your way, what is it that you want, what's important to you, and what's holding you back in that, and let's have a conversation about that. Okay. And then we'll see if the program's a good fit for you or not. I'm only taking in 8 new people for this 3-month one-on-one coaching program, the Wealth and Wellbeing Immersion. So click the button now. All right, let's finish this up. All right, so you want to take particular note of your top 5 values after you've worked through this, okay? Because these are the ones you will most want to live by on a daily basis. It's a point of reflection, and it's also how you living your life already. I want to say it's almost like you've already known your values, you're aware of them, and you could actually be consciously making decisions, having certainty. Like once I got what my values are, it's been so much easier for me to know where I need to hone in on my, what's unworkable. So I just hone in on that, bam, it creates workability in the rest of the areas. This is really important, because if you want to rise in your business, or if you want to have more money and time freedom in your life and have that quality of time with your family, because that's what's important to me. That's one of my top values, as I said before in the beginning. It's also really important to me to be a contribution and impacting the world. And so now I have spiritual equality. So that is like key for me. I love animals. I love all the squiggly worms and bugs in the world. Like, we're all equal because we're all one. I really believe that. Anyways, see, I get off focus here because I get excited. Don't feel bad if it's not quite coming together for you. It's because you're overthinking the process. So, once you've gotten to those top 5, you want to order them, and your gut feeling again. You're going within and you're finding out from yourself, what's most important to you. And you can use the 1 to 3 system again, but it's important to have these be in aligned where they're supposed to go. So what I do to get back into an alignment when I'm not in alignment is I ask myself, where am I lacking integrity in the area of family? Where am I lacking integrity in my spiritual equality? Where am I lacking integrity in my health? Where am I lacking integrity in financial freedom? And I immediately can see, where I might be out of integrity. So for when I journaled yesterday and got my top 5, and there was only taking one out and putting the new one, and that one's one that I'm exploring and doing some inner work around to get clarity on what that is and what it looks like in my life, so that I am in alignment with that, because it's important that I'm in alignment with my values. So spiritual equality, I see that encompasses all aspects of my life, with people, with bugs and animals, and like all of that. Like, equality is important to me. Financial freedom is important to me, and for me, it's not about just money. Financial freedom is about managing money wisely. It's about investing. It's about expansion in money, like cleaning up any lack of integrity that I have around money, and that takes getting deeper to what are my belief systems around money, what holds me back from having more of it in my life. Whatever that may be for you, it is a hidden belief system that you may have that you've been socially programmed or been programmed by, that you've heard throughout your life as a child. Remember the age thing. I want to say those again because it's really important to know those. It kind of helps you understand where your information came from, because all your thoughts are past thoughts. You live your life from past thinking. So in order for you to create something new in your life, then we get to the bottom and the root cause of where these belief systems come from, so that you can live empowered and live confident and live from a place of, who you're being in the world, in your family, and for yourself. So again, from birth to age 7, these are your imprinting years. These years are huge because it's your parents who are imprinting you the most. Like, obviously, maybe your mom breastfed you. I don't know, but these years are super huge. And a lot of people don't see any connection to what was going on in their life between the age of birth and 7, how that would impact who you are in your life today. And I'm here to tell you that it has a huge impact on you. And if you have patterns that you are aware of, a lot of people aren't even aware of their own patterns, but I promise if you start paying attention to these patterns, you can actually link them all the way back to the very first time you had a memory about this pattern. And that's the kind of work that I do with my clients, is we get to the root cause of what it is that is hidden or blocked, so that you can be free from it. And when I say free, it's no longer in the background running the show. It's now out here in the forefront, so that you can have the control. You have the power over your thoughts. And then you're just responsible for that. And it's a daily practice. And then from age 7 to 14 are your modeling years. This is the years where we really start to model and mimic what's happening around us. And that's why it's encouraged to find, if you're like, I'm inspired by Tony Robbins, Katrina Ruth, John Ashraf. Like, these people just inspire me. Maurice Minot, absolutely love these people. They're powerhouses to me. And I want to model their success. I want to model, finding someone who's already been successful in the areas that are important to me. So if health is important to me, then I'm going to find people or the knowledge that I need to model from, so that I'm not, starting from scratch and making it harder for myself when there's other people who've already been successful at it. You follow them. That's why I love the network marketing industry, because there's a model already there for you, and it's up to you to follow that model. And if you're following it, then then you will have more success in your life. Which, by the way, success is already something that's created now. It's not something you're chasing after. Boy, that was a big one for me. Anyways, so now you've gotten to your top 5 values. I would love to hear from you what you came up with doing this process. If it was of any value to you, let me know. If you'd like to dive deeper into that, schedule a chat with me. Let's have a chat. If you're having trouble with coming up with your top 5 values and that's important to you, which who wouldn't want to be living in flow, on purpose, having certainty, making decisions like nothing? Why wouldn't that be important to anybody? Well, I guess people who've become resigned about their life, it wouldn't be important to them. However, if it's important to you and you're struggling with coming up with your top 5, just click the link, schedule a time for us to have a chat. All right? And I am looking forward to having this beautiful day be blessed for all of us. Namaste.